Question says, use the title and axis labels of each graph to tell what the y-intercept and the slope mean in each case. So let's figure out, first of all, let's look at what's labeled on each axis. We have our x-axis and we have our y-axis. What's labeled on the x-axis? People. And what's labeled on the y-axis? Cost. What is this graph telling us about? Cost of a luncheon at Vince's banquet hall. So the cost depends on the number of people. What do you notice is happening? What do you notice is happening every time the number of people increases? We know that this graph is increasing. Yep, Glenn? The cost is increasing. Makes sense. Think about it. But what's important here is that, let's look at this graph for a second. Is there a point at 0, 0? No, there is not. So if there's no people that attend, do you still have to pay a set amount? No. Of course you do. What is it? How much do you have to pay? $150. So even if you don't have any people coming, this is the set fee. Okay, the banquet hall basically is their rental fee. They're charging you, this is the initial amount. They're charging you $150 basically just to say, okay, you can come to my banquet hall. Then for every person that comes, we're gonna figure out how much does each person pay. So where is this point located on the graph? Where does it touch the graph? Yep. The y-axis. And what is that point referred to as? Remember we talked about this? Good. So this is the y-intercept. In the context of this example, in this case, the y-intercept is $150. That's the, you can say set fee, the initial amount. Okay, you can call it the rental fee. That's how much it costs to rent the hall. Now we have to figure out what the slope represents. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday. We can use the slope formula. What is the slope formula? Y2 minus Y1 over
X2 minus X1.
Good. Is this a straight line? Is this example, is it a straight line?
Yeah.
So will the slope be the same no matter which points I choose? Is it always increasing by the same amount?
Yeah.
Okay, so pick any 2 points. You guys tell me, which 2 points do you want to use? Which 2 coordinates?
Y2 minus Y1.
Okay, so we're going to pick this point, 3,300. Okay, so I'll label that. Okay, so this is XY. And what's another point you want to use to calculate the slope? You can pick any 2 points to calculate the slope. You can use coordinates and plug it into the formula. Yep. Okay, this one, 10, 200. Okay, so this is another XY. Which coordinate do you want to call 1? Which one do you want to call 2?
First one's 8.
The higher one? This one? Okay. So this is X1, Y1, X2, Y2. I want everyone right now on your own to calculate. I want you to plug in into the formula Y2 minus Y1. So this minus this over X2 minus X1. Okay, so 300 minus 200, that's my Y2 minus Y1 over X2. Shh. Eric, what's X2? Not paying attention. 30 minus X1 is 10. Let's simplify this. 300 take away 200. 30 minus 10. 20. What's 100 divided by 20? Simplify this. 5. What that means, okay, what does this mean? Slope. We just found the slope, okay? The slope is 5. But what does that mean in this question? The slope is 5, or I could say 5 over 1. Remember, slope is rise over run. What's the rise?
5.
Which is what? What's
50.
Cost? Okay, the rise is the cost, and what's the run? The people. So it's 5 over 1. That means the cost is $5 for every one person. Or the cost is $100 for every 20 people. Okay? $100 for every 20 people is the same as saying $5 per person. So it's $5 per person. That's what the slope means in this question. Now let's look at the graph again. You pay $150 to rent the hall. Then every single person that comes, you have to pay an extra $5. Can someone think of an equation you could write to represent this situation? How would you calculate the cost? Excellent. 150 plus 5x. What does your x represent? So you pay $150, then you have to pay an extra $5 times the number of people, times x, for every person that's coming. That will give you the cost of this hall. Depreciation means that something's losing value over time. And we can look at this graph. We know that the line's decreasing. So over time, as the copier gets older, okay, as the years increase, the value of it, what it's worth, decreases. What is the starting value? How much is it worth when it's zero? You get it when you buy it. Good, because this is in thousands. So it's $7,000. Where is that point located? Okay, so this is the y-intercept in this case. It represents how much the copier was worth when they bought it. No time passed, 0 time passed. Okay, has anyone been able to calculate the slope? Which 2 points did you use?
I use the graph thing or the chart thing.
So if let's say I choose this point here, let's do this one, and this point. We can actually count the rise. Okay, I can take my pencil and I can count. Rise, how many times am I jumping down? 1, 2. But you have to look at the scale. This is counting by, is it counting by ones?
Yes.
It is counting by ones, but each one of those, each square represents how much? 1,000. So the rise is actually negative, let me write it over here. Oops. Okay, negative 1,000, correct?
Yeah.
The rise is negative 1,000. Let's look at the run. Okay, I'm going from here to here. What is the scale? What is this counting by? What is the x-axis counting by? What is the scale they use? They're counting by, so the scale here represents, each square represents 1 year. So the slope, okay, we just calculated it, rise over run. Negative 1,000 over 1. So what's the slope? What's negative 1,000 divided by 1? Negative 1,000. What does that mean in this question? Every year, this is the age, per year, what does it decrease? It's decreasing. What does it decrease by?
1,000.
So every year it's decreasing by $1,000.